everyone. I'm Tolly Carr. The HBCU Gameday Fast Break is in Fort Valley. I'm hanging out with the student section, which you can see behind me here. What's going on, guys?
Hey, what happened?
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? I don't care what their record is. I don't care if they undefeated. I don't care who they is.
Right.
Hey, I got some boys down here in Peach County that tear them up real quick.
All right. Well, it's halftime right now. It's a close game. Is Morehouse going to come away with the victory over a loss today at Fort Valley?
They're about to get an L, quick L. Their first L of the season.
We're finna hand them a quick L.
All right, let's go to the highlights and see how it all goes down.
All right, let's go from the stands to the court and check the action. That was pretty close at halftime, but the second half, man, Fort Valley State came to life in this one. Hosting Morehouse, we had 8 lead changes, and the point differential was never more than 6 points in the second half. Let me tell you about a couple of kids who came to play. For the Wildcats, it was Jalen McMillan. He gave Fort Valley their biggest lead of the game, a 6-point lead, and he was slicing, dicing Euro steps to the hole. This kid came to play. But let me tell you, the SIAC Player of the Year, I'm calling it in January, Tyrius Walker for Morehouse. He scored 16 of his game-high 36 points in the final 10 minutes of the game. So Fort Valley State would push ahead a little bit. Morehouse would keep pace. Now, despite Walker killing it from the three-point line and even opening up the buffet, showing that he can drive to the hoop as well, Fort Valley State actually took the lead late in the ball game. But Morehouse comes back, and it's down to this. Fort Valley State trailing 71-70. Just a few seconds left, and McMillan is ruled to have pushed his man off on an entry pass to the post. Check it out again. So Morehouse goes to the line. Martravius Little hits 1 of 2 free throws. Fort Valley State has one more chance. No dice. This one was close. It was good. The Maroon Tigers almost lost, but almost doesn't count. They get the win 72-70.
All right, so what a crazy finish between Morehouse and Fort Valley State. The Maroon Tigers hold on for a 2-point win. And Coach Grady Brewer joining us now on the fast break. Coach, are those exciting wins? Are they nerve-wracking? How do those games like that make you feel?
Iron sharpens iron, and we hadn't played for a week, so our guys are a little rusty, but they played hard down the stretch, and the bottom line, we got the win. But, what it does, it just makes us better. We haven't had a close game in a while, and this makes us better in being able to execute down the stretch. Tell
me about the effort from Tyrius Walker today. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 35 points. He hit some really big shots for you.
He played huge for us. He's just in a zone right now. He's playing his best basketball, and without him tonight, we wouldn't have won this basketball game. So he's just a great basketball player, and he's just getting better and better as we go on.
And it's not going to get any easier moving forward.
No, it's not. No, everybody has a target on your back, and it's their championship. And so we got to be willing to live up to what we are, what we said we are, and we did it tonight. And so we'll get back to the lab and get ready for Monday's game.
All right, the unbeaten streak continues for Morehouse. Let's go now to the CIAA. Wally Pitt is in Salisbury, where Livingstone and Shaw are playing. Wally, take it away.
Thanks, TC. Yeah, it's your boy Wally here at Livingstone. Just caught a banger between Shaw University and Livingstone College. Shaw University is one of our early favorites in the CIAA. And, this game came down to one name, Savon Goodman. That was a whole-grown man that Shaw has over there. I feel like he got almost every rebound. His one-on-one skills in the paint are tremendous. But this is one of those games where Livingstone showed heart. They ended up being down by 10 points, bringing it back, going up by 1, then going back down by 8 points, but they never gave up. Roger Ray had a great game from the point guard position. He took a lot of physical hits, and it's just one of those great CIAA regular season games. I don't think Livingstone should hold their head. They learned, they finally got a shot to see Savon Goodman, what they're going to be in for, and, they only lost by 4 points. So, a great effort by Livingstone, great game all around. This one was physical up and down. The real story was the dunk at the end that just cleared the whole gym out. One of one of the illest dunks I've seen in a hot minute. So, peace to Shaw University, peace to Livingstone. We had a great one here. I'm going to kick it back to UTC. Wally Pitt from New Trent. Game day.
Let's check the rest of those scores around the CIAA. Chowan over Elizabeth City. Bowie State over Lincoln. This is men's action. St. Aug with the win over Winston-Salem State. Johnson C. Smith over the Broncos. Wally Pitt told us all about Shaw and Livingstone. And on Sunday, for men, it's going to be Virginia Union and Virginia State, a big classic game up in VA. Speaking of Virginia Union and Virginia State, on Saturday, these two women programs got together. Man, two of the best, the two best in the CIAA, and Virginia Union snaps a 15-game win streak for Virginia State. They now have a 15-game win streak. The Lady Panthers do. Chowan over Elizabeth City. Bowie State over Lincoln. Winston-Salem State, how about that? The century mark over St. Aug's. Fayetteville State with the win over Johnson C. Smith, and the Shaw women over Livingstone.
All right, Wally Pitt, we appreciate your hustle down there in Salisbury, hanging out with Livingstone and Shaw. All right, let's swing over to the MEAC now. Stephen J. Gaither, he's in Greensboro with the North Carolina A&T Aggies, where they are taking on Morgan State on Saturday. Stephen J. Gaither, I know that was a good game in Greensboro.
Okay, so we're here at Corbett Center. As you can see, it's emptying out right now, but that wasn't the case a little while ago. And the fans that came here on Saturday got a show. Morgan State came in the game early on. I think they were about 14-0. Looked like they were really going to blow North Carolina A&T out of the water, but A&T came in with the team game. Got DeVaris McGowan, who came off the floor for a huge game, and Denzel Keys, really the story of the day. The former football player. He's played basketball as well his entire career, but no football this year, and he's really had some big games and stepped up tonight for them as well. Kinley and Carr, they came in averaging a whole lot of points. Kinley was averaging over 30 by himself coming in, but he only got 20 tonight, fouled out early. Carr was held below his season average, and so Morgan State suffers its first MEAC loss of the year, and the bad news for them is they have to go down the road and take on North Carolina Central on Monday. For North Carolina A&T, it's a great win. Got great play by DeVaris McGowan's on the offensive end. Denzel Keys, really the story of the day. He's known as a football player more than anything, but this year, no football to concentrate on, and it looks like he's really settling in as a basketball player. And they got Coppin State coming in. Coppin State, not the greatest record, but Coach Juan Dixon has his team excited and prepped for what's in the future there, so it should be a good atmosphere there as well. But at the end of the day, North Carolina A&T gets a big win over the preseason favorite on the MEAC, Morgan State, and we'll see if that means anything what these teams mean later on.
All right, Stephen, here's a look at the rest of the MEAC. You told us about A&T. Let's go to Bethune-Cookman, FAMU. Give that one to BCU. Savannah State over Maryland Eastern Shore. South Carolina State just nips Howard. And North Carolina Central big over Coppin State. MEAC women's scores from Saturday. A&T over Morgan. Bethune-Cookman just barely over FAMU. Maryland Eastern Shore over Savannah State. Howard over South Carolina State and the Lady Bulldogs, and North Carolina Central with a sweep over Coppin State. Your MEAC matchup on MLK Monday, A&T and Coppin State, South Carolina State, Maryland Eastern Shore, FAMU hosting Dell State, Savannah State will host Howard, Norfolk State, and Elizabeth City State. This is going to be an exhibition, and these are men's games here, and Stetson will host Bethune-Cookman. All right, the MEAC women's schedule, mostly the same, couple of differences here, and that's going to be Hampton will host Old Dominion. Everything else you see on your screen will be a doubleheader along with the men.
Okay, that's a look at the MEAC and what they have coming up on the schedule. Let's check out the SWAC now. A little bit of a rivalry Saturday. We'll go down to Montgomery, where Alabama State and Alabama A&M playing. Ooh, you can throw out the records in that one. It's always going to be an intense game. And the winner out of Montgomery on this Saturday, drum roll, please. And that winner in Montgomery, Alabama State. The men get the win over Alabama A&M. Always a good game. Always close when these two get together. It was like quadruple overtime last year. Hey, Jackson State, Texas Southern in overtime. How about that? Jackson State gets the win. Mississippi Valley State, they lose to Alcorn State.
Grambling and Prairie View. Grambling with the win, and UAPB just barely over Southern. Let's go to the SWAC women. Texas Southern over Jackson State. Alcorn over the Valley. Prairie View, A&M, and Grambling go to overtime. Give that one to, Grambling. How about that one? Southern over UAPB, and Alabama A&M and Alabama State. They split with the women getting the win. All right, your SWAC games on Monday. UAPB, Alcorn State, Grambling, Texas Southern, the Valley and Southern, and Jackson State, Prairie View, A&M. Okay, let's take a look at SIAC scores. Men's action. Central State over Miles. Kentucky State over Tuskegee. Claflin with the win over Payne. We know all about Morehouse. Lane over Spring Hill. And Clark Atlanta continues to win with the victory over Albany State. Women's scores. We have winners: Central State, Kentucky State, Claflin, Spring Hill over Lane, and Clark Atlanta drops 2 in a row. Albany State with the win. On Martin Luther King Day, we're going to have some SIAC games on your MLK Monday. Albany State and Morehouse, Kentucky State and Miles, Benedict and Payne, Lemoyne Owen and Spring Hill, and Clark Atlanta pays a visit to Fort Valley State. Quickly checking those scores. Tennessee State, close loss there on the road. Philander Smith, they lose to Talladega. Dillard with the win over Edward Waters, and Tougaloo loses to Xavier. All right, so women's scores for you. Tennessee State with the win. Philander Smith over Talladega. Dillard over Edward Waters, and in double overtime is Tougaloo over Xavier.
Well, that's it for the HBCU Game Day Fast Break. I'm Tolly Carr from Fort Valley State University. We were hanging out in the SIAC this weekend. We'll have much more on the Fast Break later this week. We appreciate all your support here at HBCU Game Day.